Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today I'm going to be doing a Master Duel Numeron deck profile. So I'm really excited for you guys because this deck is an awesome OTK deck in Master Duel. Just to be able to activate your copy of Numeron Network and special summon out all 4 of the Numeron gates to OTK your opponent. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can come part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards, like getting your name description every single video, getting a signed cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month you're a patron. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Numeron Wall. This card is a great 3 of in the deck that can actually get you your copy of Numeron Network extremely easily. This card is a super good effect that if you control no cards except Numeron Wall, quick effect, you can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard to activate a Numeron Network directly from your hand or deck, which is a super good effect because since it activates your copy of Numeron Network, your opponent can't Ash Blossom it. It also has a really good effect that you can only use the effect of that card once per turn, but when you take battle damage, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, in the battle phase after the damage step, which is a great effect to be able to use just to give you a little bit of protection. We then play 3 copies of Planet Pathfinder. Planet Pathfinder is a really good 3 of in the deck that has the ability to contribute this card to add a field spell from your deck to your hand, which is always going to be your copy of Numeron Network, so that you can start OTKing your opponent. We then play 3 copies of Lava Golem. Lava Golem is a great 3 of in the deck because usually we're not normal summoning all that much outside of our copy of Planet Pathfinder. So this card comes in extremely handy to distribute over 2 of our opponent's monsters to be able to summon out a Lava Golem to give us a safe target to attack into to OTK the opponent. We then play 2 copies of Gameciel. Gameciel is really good as a 2 of in this deck, just to be able to summon to the opponent's side of the field, and then have a safe target to attack into. You can play any kaiju you want in this position. I just chose Gameciel because it has the lowest attack points, but you can play any kaiju you want in this particular position. We then play 3 copies of Maxi. Maxi is a really good 3 of in the deck, just to be able to dig into the deck, to be able to draw additional cards, or stop your opponent in their tracks where they're going to end their turn. Because for every time your opponent special summons, you're going to draw a card. This card currently is still at 3 in Master Duel, which is just crazy that this card is still at 3, and it's really good in this deck. We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom is a really good 3 of in the deck just to stop the opponent from touching the deck, and a great card overall in this build. We're then playing 2 copies of Cyframe Gear Gamma. Gamma is a really good 2 of the deck to go with our 1 of Driver, just to be able to make sure that we're not going to get hand trapped for starting to go in for all of our OTK plays to get to our copy of Numeron Network. These cards are just really good at protecting against hand traps, which is why I play them at 2, and there's only 2 copies of Gamma in this particular deck because Gamma is currently at 2 in Master Duel. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing a single copy of Terraforming. Terraforming is a really good 1 of the deck just to be able to get to our copy of Numeron Network extremely quickly so we can go in for the OTK. I'm then playing a single copy of Harpy's Feather Duster. Feather Duster is a really good 1 of the deck just to deal with our opponent's back row in case they try and floodgate us. This card is really good at stopping that so that we can go in for the OTK. I'm then playing a single copy of Crossout Designator. This card is really good at stopping cards like Maxi or even Ash Blossom so that we can go in for all of our plays. We then play 2 copies of Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave is a really good 2 of in the deck just to stop our opponent from hand trapping us so we can go in for all of our plays. I then play 2 copies of Raigeki. Raigeki is really good in the deck to be able to board wipe your opponent's monsters so that we can go in for game. I really like this card in this particular build, and it's just a really awesome card. I then play 3 copies of Numeron Network. Numeron Network is the key card of the entire deck. This card is absolutely broken and just a really awesome card that has the ability that during your main phase you can send a Numeron normal spell card that meets its activation conditions from your deck to the graveyard, and this effect becomes that spell's effect when it was activated. And you can only use the effect of Numeron Network once per turn, and Numeron XZ monsters that you control can activate their effects without detaching materials, which is how every single one of your Numeron Gate monsters doubles your attack after an attack on a monster, which is really cool because basically you're just going to go 1,000, 2,000, 4,000, 8,000 and OTK the opponent. But this card is always going to send from deck to graveyard your copies of Numeron Calling, which is really cool because this card has the ability, if Numeron Network is in your field spell zone and you control no monsters, you can special summon 4 Numeron Gate XZ monsters with different names from your extract, but banish them during the end phase. Also, you can only normal or special summon once more for the rest of the turn, which is not that big of a deal because usually we're just going to summon out all of our Numeron Gates and OTK the opponent. But if we can't OTK the opponent, we're going to link them all the way into one big monster during the main phase too. I then play 2 copies of Memories of Hope. This card is still at 2 in Master Duel. It's just a really good 2 of the deck that you get to draw cards equal to the number of XZ monsters with different names that you control, which usually with your copy of Numeron Network, you're going to have 4 different Numeron Gates on the field. So you're going to be able to draw 4 cards off of this card, which is just crazy powerful. We then play 3 copies of Limiter Removal. Limiter Removal is extremely broken in this deck because it's going to double the attack of all of your Numeron Gates because they're all machine monsters, which helps you OTK the opponent a little bit easier, which is really cool. It's awesome when you draw multiple of this card with your copy of Numeron Network because you're just going to OTK your opponent like crazy with 1 or 2 attacks. We then play 3 copies of Lightning Storm. Lightning Storm is crazy powerful in Master Duel and just really good because it can board wipe all of your opponent's attack position monsters or destroy all spells and traps that they control, and if you control no face-up cards, which is really cool because you just activate this card first and then activate Numeron Network and protect yourself with cards like Call by the Grave, Crossout Designator, or even Gamma from getting hand traps. So this card is a definite 3 of the deck to combo with our copy of Raigeki and Feather Duster to be able to make sure that we're board wiping the opponent so that we can go in for game. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing a single copy of C1. C1 is really good in the deck, but you only really need a single copy of this card. This card has a super unique effect that you can also XZ summon this card by using a Numeron Gate number 1 that you control as a material. And you transfer all the materials from that monster to this card, which it won't have any materials. But this card has a really awesome effect that if this card is XZ summoned, you banish all monsters on the field, and then once per turn during your next standby phase after this card was banished, you can special summon this banished card. Then, if Numeron Network is on the field, you inflict damage to your opponent equal to the combined attack of all banished XZ monsters, which is really cool because you're going to do at least 3k damage with this card if this is the card that you choose to summon during main 2. This card is really good in the deck just to be able to finish off your opponent, especially if they're only about 3,000 life points away, and it's a really good card overall. We then play 2 copies of Gate number 1, 2 copies of Gate number 2, 2 copies of Gate number 3, and 2 copies of Gate number 4. All of these cards do the exact same thing. They all have the exact same effect, just different names. And their effect is they cannot be destroyed by battle. And at the end of the damage step, if this card battled an opponent's monster, you can detach a material from this card and double the attack of all Numeron monsters that you currently control until the end of this turn. Now with Numeron Network on the field, you actually don't have to detach materials to activate this effect, which is a super cool thing because you're basically going to go for 1,000, 2,000, 4,000, and then 8,000 to OTK the opponent. And with cards like Limiter Removal, you're going to go 2, 4, 8, 16, which is really cool to be able to just OTK your opponent with a copy of Limiter Removal with these cards because they're all machine monsters. I then play a single copy of Underworld Goddess because it's really easy with your copy of Numeron Network to put 4 monsters on your side of the field and then use one of your opponent's monsters to be able to break their board, which is really cool. We then play a single copy of Infinitract Megaclops. This card is a card that I'm summoning all the time in this deck, and it's probably the go-to monster that I go into if I don't OTK the opponent because it's unaffected by other monster effects except those of XZ monsters, and it cannot be destroyed by battle except with those of XZ monsters, which is really cool because this card is really hard to deal with depending on your matchup, and it's a really good boss monster because it sits at 4,000 attack points. It's really easy to summon in main 2, and combo with cards like Limiter Removal, this card can get absolutely massive. We then play a single copy of Mekk-Knight Crusadia Avermax. Avermax is a really good one-of in the deck, just in case you need to make it, and I really like this card as a one-of in the deck. We play a single copy of Yugioh. Yugioh just helps us dig into the deck, but we can only play a single copy of this card in Master Duel. But being able to draw 4 and then put 3 back is really good because we can put some of the bricks back into the deck and also draw 4 to fix our hand. We then play a single copy of Appaloosa just in case we need to put some monster negates on the field, which is really good in this deck. And then finally, I play a single copy of Cyframe Lord Omega. Omega is really good to go with our copy of Gamma to be able to get a card out of our opponent's hand. So this card is really good at also clearing the board if we do summon out a copy of Gamma and Driver, because we don't want a monster on the field when we activate Numeron Network. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys have never played Numeron before, you guys should definitely give it a try. I have a lot of live duels of me playing this deck on the channel, which you guys should check out. And it's a really fun deck to be able to play because I really love OTKing the opponent with this deck. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can come for our notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.